Hi, and welcome to Cenario, your partner in mental wellness. Here on our channel, we share educational, insightful, and science-backed content to help you understand your mental health and take meaningful steps toward a more balanced life. If you're ready to learn, grow, and take control of your wellness journey, let's jump right in.
So can depression actually make you forgetful? It's a question a lot of us have, and the answer is a definite yes. In this explainer, we're going to uncover that surprising link between your mood and your memory, and more importantly, what you can do about it.
Have you ever had one of those days where you feel like you're just wading through a thick mental fog? Where simple thoughts feel heavy and trying to concentrate is like trying to catch smoke? It's a really frustrating experience, and if you've felt it, trust me, you are not alone.
And it's so important to know that this isn't just you being tired or a little unfocused. That brain fog, that maddening forgetfulness, it's a real legitimate symptom of depression. It's a huge piece of the puzzle that, honestly, often gets missed when we talk about mental health.
So to really get a handle on this connection, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly is depression from a clinical point of view?
The clinical term you'll hear is major depressive disorder, or MDD, but think of it less like a passing mood and more like a stubborn weather system in your mind, this low, heavy cloud that just drains the color out of everything you used to love. It is so much more than just feeling sad.
And when we look at the common symptoms, we see the ones we all know, like sadness and fatigue. But look really close at that last one, trouble focusing or making decisions. This is absolutely key. These cognitive issues, they aren't some side effect. They're a fundamental part of the diagnosis itself.
And that leads us right into the science. What's actually happening inside our brains during a depressive episode that basically hijacks our ability to think and remember?
Okay, let's start with a part of the brain called the hippocampus. This is basically your brain's save button for new memories. Now, here's the incredible part. Research shows that chronic depression can cause this vital area to actually shrink. It's like your save button is getting smaller and a lot less reliable, making it way harder to store and recall things that just happened.
Then there's the amygdala. This is the brain's emotional command center, kind of like an alarm system. With depression, this system can get stuck in the on position, just constantly overactive. It floods your mind with intense sadness and anxiety, which, as you can imagine, uses up a ton of the mental energy we need for thinking and remembering.
And finally, we've got the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the CEO or the control tower for your brain. It handles all the big stuff: planning, concentrating, making decisions. Depression can effectively put this control tower on lockdown, messing up its signals and making it incredibly difficult to focus and think clearly.
Okay, so we've seen what's happening to the hardware, right? But how does it actually translate to the real world? How does it cause those memory problems that you might be experiencing day to day?
Well, depression tends to go after two specific kinds of memory. First is your short-term memory. That's why you might read a whole page in a book and immediately forget what it said, or why you're constantly looking for your keys. The second is something called prospective memory. That's our ability to remember to do things in the future, like showing up for an appointment. Biologically, it's pretty much a perfect storm. For starters, you've got high levels of the stress hormone cortisol, which can literally damage brain cells. At the same time, your brain's ability to create new connections, its plasticity, is dialed way down. Then, add in an imbalance of key chemical messengers, like serotonin, and top it all off with the terrible sleep and nutrition that often come with depression, and you've got a recipe for a cognitive breakdown.
Now, a really common and totally understandable fear is, oh my gosh, could this be dementia? It is so crucial to understand the difference. The single most important distinction is that memory loss from depression is almost always reversible. It gets better when the depression is treated. That is not the case with dementia, which is a progressive neurodegenerative disease.
And that word, reversible, that's the most important one you're going to hear today, because it brings us to the most hopeful part of this whole conversation, the path to recovery.
This right here is the central message of hope. The fog, the forgetfulness, it does not have to be a life sentence. With the right help and the right approach, that mental clarity can and does return.
So what does that treatment look like? Well, it's a whole person approach, really, built on 4 pillars: medication, psychotherapy, some really important lifestyle changes, and targeted cognitive training. Let's break each of those down.
So on the professional side of things, medications like SSRIs can help rebalance the brain's chemistry.
Then you have psychotherapy, especially something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which gives you the tools to challenge and reframe those negative thought patterns that fuel depression. And cognitive training. Yeah, things like brain games and puzzles. It's like physical therapy for your mind, helping you rebuild that mental muscle.
But look, professional help is just one piece of the pie. These lifestyle changes are incredibly powerful, non-negotiable tools for your brain health. We're talking regular exercise, good food, restorative sleep, and mindfulness practices. They all work together to lower stress and actively help your brain get back to a healthier place.
All right, let's bring all this home with some practical strategies you can start using in your daily life to manage these symptoms and begin reclaiming your mental clarity. Think of these tips as building a support system for your brain while it heals. Use lists and reminders on your phone as an extension of your memory. Create routines so you don't have to think so hard. Break big, scary tasks into tiny, manageable steps. When you need to focus, get rid of distractions. And, maybe most importantly, practice self-compassion. Please remember, healing is a journey. It is not a race.
So, if you're struggling with memory loss and you also have depression, please hear this. What you're going through is real. It's a part of the illness. But it is also temporary, and it is treatable. Just understanding that connection is the first, most powerful step you can possibly take.
So we've seen that the link between depression and memory is real. It's biological, and it is absolutely treatable. Understanding that is step one, and you've just taken it. The question now is, what will your next one be?
Thank you for watching Cenario. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For personalized mental wellness supplements, visit Cenario.com. See you in the next one.